Welcome to the Blissful Life, a podcast where we awaken the wisdom of self and explore the lessons, the rituals, and the pathways to inner bliss. I'm your host, Regina Lawless, former corporate executive turned author and spiritual teacher. And I'm on a mission, y'all, to help people connect to and express their divine self so they can make their unique impact on the world. If you've been feeling like there is more to life than the hustle and grind, then you found your tribe. It's time to breathe and relax into the blissful life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Blissful Life. Y'all are in for a treat. I have the amazingly talented Glenda Benavides here with me. And before we jump in, let me tell you all about Glenda. I can't wait to read your bio, friend, because I need people to know how impressive you are. Glenda Benavides is an award-winning singer-songwriter celebrated for her soulful vocals and deeply resonant lyrics that inspire audiences around the globe. As a Grammy-nominated artist and Recording Academy voting member, Glenda actively contributes to honoring and elevating excellence in the music industry. Beyond her remarkable music achievements, Glenda is a passionate mentor committed to empowering women to discuss their authentic voices, embrace freedom, and unlock their full potential. Through her transformative performances, retreats, which I can't wait to go on a retreat with you, and her best-selling book, Courage, which we are going to get into on today's episode. Her book, Courage, Find Your Fire and Ignite Action in Your Life. She guides individuals on a journey of clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and community, inspiring them to lead empowered, purpose-driven lives. Additionally, Glenda champions environmental stewardship, blending her love for nature and creativity by planting trees and fostering sustainable future. Her work reflects a harmonious blend of artistry, mentorship, and activism, leaving an indelible mark on every stage she graces and every life she touches. Welcome to the show, Glenda.
Thank you. It's so good to see you.
Oh, you too. And I love the last line in your bio where it says you leave an indelible mark on everyone you touch, because I felt that when we first met. So for the audience who's listening or watching, Glenda and I met at a Grammy nominees awards or Grammy nominees party.
Yeah.
So both you and my honey, Jay Tony, participated or collaborated on this Grammy nominated album. And we just happened to be introduced to each other. And I'm not, in the music industry. I just get the benefit of going to cool parties and listening to great music and
Yeah.
meeting great musicians. So I was there as a plus one, but you and I just started talking, and I was just so drawn to you, your warmth, your magnetism, your kindness. So I felt the vibe immediately, and I'm so happy that we met each other.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny because I was we're at the party, and then one of the I don't know if I should say her name or anything, but one of the leaders came up to me and said, "Oh, you've got to meet Tony. He's on the album too." And I went, "What? There's somebody else on the album?" So, and we came over there and I said, hey. We were talking for a few seconds. And then I met you, and it was just like, I'd known you forever. Like, and it was like, you move along. We're going to have a conversation.
Right. It suddenly became our world. And
I know. I wanted to talk. I wanted to hear about your book and,
Yeah.
and everything. And I was like, oh my God, who is this woman?
It's
She's amazing.
I was like, "Oh my god, I love her."
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. We're busy talking
Right,
over here.
right. Excuse y'all. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. And here we are. We just had brunch not too long ago, and here
Yep.
we are continuing the conversation. And I
Love it.
think with this, I do too. I think with my show, I certainly have an intention to bring people that I know in real life who are doing amazing things and
Yeah.
just almost like open up the conversation. Like we're just two girlfriends talking and just open up that conversation to the rest of the
Yeah.
world. So,
Yeah.
all
Those are
right,
the best.
friend. Those are the best.
Those are the
Okay.
best.
Well, speaking of conversations, I have some questions to ask you, friend. So let me pretend to be a proper podcaster and have
Right.
my have my notes, have it all together here. So one of the first things I know I'm gonna try not to get too silly, but this it might we might
Oh,
we might
it's
go
all
there.
good. It's all,
It's
it's it's you and me. That's why.
That's
We're
exactly why.
nonsensical.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Yeah.
just gonna let it roll and people get
Yeah.
to get to peek in. So,
Exactly.
so I wanted to kick off our conversation talking about courage. So you have this beautiful book, and I know it's a little bit hard to see. I will link it in the show notes for people so they can go pick it up. But the book is about courage, and one of the things that I wanted to start out asking you is, how do you define courage?
Yeah. Courage, I was thinking about this earlier and I'm like, what is courage? Courage is really doing the things that you want to do, that you're afraid to do, that you may not do, and then all the conversations inside your head that stop you from doing whatever your passion is, whatever your goals are, your desires. And then courage is what you grab onto when you go, okay, here we go. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it, but
Mm.
I'm gonna do it anyway. And that's how I would describe courage for me.
Hmm. I love how you phrased it. It's what you grab onto, because
Mhm.
I think people have this misconception that you have to be fearless or courage is the
Mm-mm.
absence of fear. It's like, no, it's you're scared as hell,
No.
but you're doing it anyways. You're grabbing on to
Yeah,
that courage.
that's right.
So I love how you
Yeah.
put that. So you were quite the courageous kid, I read, and in this book. So one of the stories that really touched me, Glenda, I was like, you have this story in the book where you talk about being around 7 years old, you're in elementary school, and you witness a teacher mistreating one of the students, one of your classmates. In addition to this
Yeah.
teacher being, you know, harassing to you as well. And so if you don't mind sharing with the audience what you did in that situation and how that virtue of courage that you displayed as a kid, how that's carried into adulthood for you.
Okay. Yeah. You don't ever think of teachers as being bullies, but she was a bully.
Mm.
And I remember this young gal. I mean, first of all, she bullied me too. I was new, so I was originally from Oakland, East Oakland,
Hey,
going
the
into a
town.
whole hey Oaktown. Um, and I was in a new school up in Oregon, so it's kind of like a Leave It to Beaver moment for me. I was like, "What's going on?" And you're the new kid, right? And so it wasn't the kids bullying me, it was the teacher that bullied
Mm.
me, and she was pulling my braids. Like, I'd raise my hand to have a question or something, and then and I thought, oh, what, gosh, that makes you not want to ask questions anymore.
Right.
Pavlov's, God. And then she would take this young gal, and I don't know what the situation was. I think she was, I don't know the proper term, maybe
Right.
some
On the spectrum
disability of
is
some
how we
sort.
would probably
Yeah,
refer
yeah,
possibly now.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I think so. And so, gosh, the sad thing. And then I remember her pulling her out of class and taking her into, there was another room. And I remember all the kids jumping up, and we ran into the coat closet. And I was like, why are we going to the coat closet? And then we could hear her like beating her. And I was like,
Mm.
this is not going to happen.
Oh my
Not on my
gosh.
little tiny watch. So
Right.
my little baby watch. And so I went home and I told my dad, I said, hey, not only is she pulling my hair, but she beat this girl. And my dad said, not happening. So he went
Mm.
down, and they had a conversation with the principal and her. And, he told her, if you ever touch my daughter again, I will kill you. My dad,
Daddy wasn't playing. He
you
said,
know,
"Listen."
mm-mm. No, he did. And I felt so loved and supported.
Mm.
That's my interpretation. Who knows what he really said? But he definitely was. I will kill you. Um, so anyway, so that's what happened. And as far as, by the way, she never did that again. And she stopped,
Good.
and with the other girl too, the other young woman. So for me, um, then the question was, how did that
How
like
does that
affect me?
how does that carry over now? Because
Hmm.
that was such a remarkable display of courage at such a young age.
Yeah.
At 7, to have the two things stuck out. Not only did you have the awareness that that was not okay, but you also had the courage, which I'm sure you were afraid to say something. You didn't know what was going to happen. You're a kid. But to have the courage to speak up anyways, I think says so much about how you're wired. And it made me curious,
Yeah.
how do you continue, or how does that courage show up in your life now?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is not second guessing yourself. I mean,
Mm,
I had a little fire in me already, and I grew up in an environment where, my parents were, I was a latchkey kid, but they were very supportive. They never put me in harm's way, or they let me speak my mind or my truth. And then, my model was my dad. He was like, this ain't going. And he's like, it's from Oakland too.
right.
And,
Mm-mm.
and and especially people of color. My father was someone of color, and it was, no, this is not going down this way. And we're going to talk about this. And so I think I just got that from him. And I just, if I see something that's wrong like that, I speak up. And I don't second guess myself. I don't think about it like, oh, I should say that.
Mhm.
Occasionally I do. Sometimes I'll say things that maybe aren't appropriate or whatever, but it's me. It's
But
what I feel. It's what I think,
and I
for good or
think that
bad.
that but I think that's refreshing because especially now, because we do live in an era where, um, I think people are afraid to say anything. You don't
Yeah.
know people's mental states. Like, sometimes it is scary to speak up, or you don't know if you're going to catch a backlash for speaking up
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
whatever. So
Well,
I
you definitely
love.
you definitely have to, I think, to your point, I think you definitely have to sit back and go, okay, what if I say this or do this, what is the ramifications of it? Like,
Mhm.
what could
Mhm.
occur, and am I willing to take on that responsibility?
Mm.
Am I
Ooh.
willing?
Am I willing? And responsibility, because words carry a
Yeah.
responsibility. So,
Yeah.
ooh, I love that. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Ooh, self-expression was another thing that came across, well, just in general, like when I met you, like folks watching this on YouTube will see that you have the beautiful red and blonde hair and
My David
like
Bowie hair.
who
Stole
like
this from
a
David Bowie,
legend.
Ziggy Stardust.
Yes.
A
Yes.
legend.
Yes. Legend for those who are of a newer era, who are not of our vintage. Go look it up, David Bowie. Anyways, so there's another story in the book that I really got a kick out of. You described how, as a teenager, you got a job as a waitress and you already knew that you had the gift to sing. You already knew that you wanted to be a singer professionally. And there was, the way I remember the story, there was a band setting up at this, I don't know if it was a diner that you worked at or a
Yeah.
restaurant. And you took it on yourself, friend, to like just start belting out. I think you said Donna Summer.
Something like that. Yeah.
Just singing out loud caught the attention of the band, which led to them giving you a chance to audition and then you getting, I believe, the lead singing job for the band, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was like, what? I'm curious, what made you go for it in that moment? Because again, it takes courage to not only sing out loud in front of people, but also you're at work.
Excuse me, you're at work. What are
Right.
you doing?
As an HR person, I don't know. That might have been a write-up. That might have been a corrective action, Glenda, for singing on the job when that's not your job.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's correct. That's a corrective action, young lady. Oh my God. That's good.
So
That's
you
good.
said, forget that. I'm doing it. What made you go for it in that moment? And what advice do you have for people that know they have a gift or there is something that they are desiring to do, but they're scared to go for it and shoot their shot or claim their moment like you did?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a twofold question.
Right.
You know, it's yeah, it's really good. So I want to jump back for a second. So what I'm going to say is there's a sequence in order to have courage.
Mm.
So you have to have clarity in order to get to courage. You get to courage and you get to confidence. Then from confidence, you can get to commitment, and then you can get to community. And it really happens in that order. And I think at that moment, I had had enough confidence because I had been singing since I was in grade school, and even before then. And then I think I was at this job, so I was like 16, I think. Yeah, 16. It was a summer job. And yeah, and I think I had been in junior high, right? Getting ready to go to high school. And I had already been in choirs, like the swing choir, the concert choir. So I had some confidence, like, oh, I can sing, I'm going to sing. And, and I always, I thought, oh, I want to be in a band. I saw them loading in their gear and they were all setting up and stuff. And I thought, what do I do? Like, how do I let them know I'm here? Like, how do I speak out? Hi, I'm Glenda, I'm a singer. I wouldn't do that, you know? And so I'm like, la, 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 standing there. There was like a window, right? Because it was a bar that they were setting up in. And so I was standing in the restaurant side. And so there was a window. And in the window, I could hear the jukebox. It was going. I think it was Donna Summer or somebody like that. And I just like started singing along with it, really loud. And God. And the the bass player walks in and goes, and then he had told me later that he'd gone to the keyboard player and said, "Hey, that girl can sing," And just think, if I was in LA, I probably already have been famous and dead by
Right,
now.
discovered.
Right, famous and dead.
Right.
At 16.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like it was a little small town, called
Mhm.
Salem, Oregon. So that's really how it started. It was something I already knew. I knew how to sing. So I just did it a little bit louder. And, and I saw them looking at me. So, then one thing led to another, and I was good enough for them to say, "Hey, we're looking for a singer. So let's get this girl," and I kind of had to call my parents. I have to be my my parents had to talk to them. And, it was, a young girl's dream, at least the beginning of it.
Oh my gosh. So you seized on your dream by, I love the formula, which is also in the book, by the way. So if y'all pick up Glenda's book, you'll see that 4-part formula she just shared. But you had clarity. I think that's fantastic. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people struggle or are struggling because they don't even have
sure.
clarity
Sure.
on,
They don't even know that they don't know.
they don't know that, well, they don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
they don't know in terms of kind of what it is they want to do. I think that's so
Yeah.
spot on. But you had that clarity, and then something told you, like, this is my shot. Like, there's an opportunity here. Let me
Yeah.
seize it. What advice do you have for other people in even how do they get themselves in that position, or how, if you find yourself in this kind of serendipitous, situation that you were in, how do you
Yeah.
seize on it like you did?
Yeah. Follow your heart.
Mm,
Listen intently, listen deeply, practice that, practice like, how do I feel about this today? What do I want to do today? Not what do I have to do today?
mm,
That's part of life, right? I have to go to work, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. But give yourself some time. Don't cram your life in. Give yourself, like, if you have to be at work at 8 and it's something that you don't like, get up at 6:30, do your exercises, do some meditation, prayer, whatever you want to call it, and just go within and say, what is it that I really want to do? What lights me up? What am I passionate about? Because you start there, and once you start there, then you can go, well, let me go check that out. Let me try
mhm,
that. What would that be like? Do I need more information? Do I need practice? Do I need study? Do I need, like, what do I need? Go talk to your community, your neighborhood, your or the people that you're close to, and find out, what do they do? How do they do it? Get some inspiration, get some mentoring, and that helps you get clear. Then that helps you start to build confidence, because once you get out there and you just do it, you're gonna have an experience of it. Okay. And then once you have that experience, like, okay, I think I could do that again. Let me, and
mhm,
you lean into that. And then when something new comes up, you have reference, right? You have reference from the past, something that you've been successful with. "Oh, yeah, I did that. I stood up and I talked at an assembly once, when I was, 20 or something, and then you're like, I can talk again. Join a talking group, or join whatever it is for you. That's kind of how I see it. That's how I frame it. Yeah.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. And heart being the secret, um, or like the
Mm,
precursor. So I like how you started by saying, listen to your heart. And even making time when you don't think there's time. Because
exactly.
yeah, I coach a lot of people, and that is the number one pushback I get. Well, I don't have time, or I'm so busy, which we all are, but it's how are you choosing to use your time? And you gave some just great nuggets there. So thank you for that. Cause I feel like you summed up the blissful life in like one episode. Like, what am I going to do now,
Nice.
Glenda? Cause like you just,
Yeah.
you just gave all
And
the,
and done. Good night.
right? I love it. I hope y'all are taking notes, okay? Because that was a lot of gems dropped in that one answer. So the other theme that came out in your book, and is actually the title of one of your chapters, Expect the Magic. I believe it's chapter 8 in your book. And I immediately, when I saw that, I was like, ooh, magic. I'm like, I really, um, I'm the type of girl that likes a little whimsy,
Mhm.
likes a little fanciful.
Mhm.
That's my vibe. I love a
Yeah.
little magic in life. So you in that part of the book, you tell this story about going to London with a friend. You had your eye on this key ceremony at I think it's I don't know if it's at the palace or it's but it's
The
something to do with
Tower
the
of London.
royals. Okay, yep, Tower of London.
Yep.
And from what I read, you had to book it far in advance and you just didn't have time to make that work given you were traveling sooner. Um, and lo and behold, I won't give away the entire story, but lo and behold, you got a chance to actually do this thing that you had declared out loud that you wanted to do and were disappointed that you didn't think you were going to get to do it.
Totally.
But and feel free, please, to share how much of the story you'd like to share. But it got me thinking about or wanting to know from you, how do you continue to wake how do you continue to make way for magic in your life in the way that you made room for? I think you created the conditions for this magic to happen in London.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting about that is because, we talk a lot about our words, using our words. What are those definitions? What are our belief systems? What does that run? What's running us, right? And I'm fairly logical. So in my world at the time, I'm logical and magical, but the logic was telling me, well, that's not going to work. Like, they requested this, you have to do this. And it was like
Hmm.
snail mail. It's not like we could just get online and, you know, they weren't accepting that, which makes sense because, being in the tower, it's where the crown jewels are. It's like, it's,
It's a big
over
deal.
1,000 years old. I mean, it's their their crown jewel there. It's a military battery. Um, and, I thought, gosh, that would be so fun because I had seen that on TV, that they had opened it up to the public. And so I was like,
Ah,
oh, darn. And I was going, and my girlfriend kept going, oh, no, you're going. And I go, mm-mm, mm-mm. Listen to my words. No, you're going. I'm like, I'm not going. You have to write the letter. You have to make sure they accept you. You're going. And I'm like, wow, she's delusional. Um, but okay, let's play. And it really just goes to show you that sometimes when you have, even if you have a bad thought about it or a negative thought, or, I was trying to poo poo it, my passion and my desire and my vision was a yes. I was
mm,
already there. I'd already gone through this. Like yes, on my passion. Even though I was saying, yeah, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, but it's not going to happen. So you see that it was really interesting, the juxtapose that was happening there. But one was stronger, obviously, than the other,
then the
which it
other.
trained me a lot because sometimes we say, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm positive. Oh, I'm this, and it doesn't happen because whatever's inside, whatever that passion is or that visualization is not there. So it
Hmm.
showed me that what I saw, what I felt, what I believed in was there, but my practical side was saying, no, it's not there. You didn't write that letter, you know. So that was the jewels for me in that. And my girlfriend was holding space for me. She didn't even know
Hmm.
it, but she was holding space. Like, no, you're going. No, you're going.
Yeah.
So the magical part about it was I go, well, I'm going to the Tower of London today anyway. Do you want to go with me? She's like, yes, I'll go with you. So we get to the tower. We walk through. We sit in, Henry VII's bedroom, like it's ours, looking out the window at the Thames, because that's what we do.
Right.
And people are walking by, and we're just like hanging out in the bedroom,
You're
like
like,
it's our
listen,
place. I'm
right.
serious. It's like
We're
this is my place.
royalty. Right.
Thank you.
Excuse you.
And so, and then we got up, we were walking around, and there were some beef eaters there. Those are the guys that run the tower. They're the guys in the outfit, right? The beef eater outfits, right? And then I was kind of like dropping bombs or something like, oh, so and they were just like, go away. And and so finally, it was 5:00, and they bark, right? These guys bark, right? They're military, bark. We're going to get time to go. So they were closing up at 5:00, and so we started heading down the stairs. We were in the White Tower. We got down the stairs, and the door was here. And then there was this guy over here, tall, handsome, prince looking, in a cool military outfit or something. And Sarah's like, and I'm like, and so we were like, okay. I go, you go talk to him really quick, because I'm supporting her now, because he's really cute and she needed to flirt with him. So, and the guy's standing at the door, but he doesn't say anything, which I thought was really interesting. So we walk over there, and he starts chatting with us, and we're like talking, kind of flirting. We're just hitting it off, right? And then the guy door is like, we've got to, close the and so he goes, okay, he looks at us and he goes, what are you ladies doing later? And we said we had something planned. We go, nothing, nothing.
Right
Like,
answer.
oh my God, nothing. He goes, well, he said, if you'd like, we could meet up for drinks. And how would you like to join me in the key ceremony? And in that moment, I just went, what? And she looks at me, she goes, I can't hear you going. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was just like shocked, like blew my mind. And yeah.
No, please continue.
Yeah.
I'm shocked with you. I read it and it was like, what? So
what just happened? It was crazy. And then, he took our phone numbers, and then we left, and we were like, and I was all nervous and sweating and excited. And she's like, yeah, whatever. She's just thinking he's cute, right? And then we go on to the gift shop, and he texted us, and he said, you're on the list. I was
amazing.
like, what? He could have not texted us. Okay. He could have just blown us off, right? He didn't have to do that, right? No, he did. He texted us. And then he said, meet me at the gate, because they lock up, right? So meet me at the gate at like 7:00. We'll do drinks, and then I'll take you to the key ceremony. So we get there. We ran home to her house. We got all beautified.
I know y'all got cute.
Oh yeah. And then we get there, okay. And this was the profound moment for me too. So I'm standing at the gate. There is a line of people outside the gate line. And I looked, and I told her, I go, those are the people that sent the letter. Those are the people that sent the letter. They got to get in too, but it was going to be later. So they were all queued up, right? He comes walking up with one of the beef eaters. He's now in military fatigues or something. I can't even remember. Yeah, some kind of fatigues. And he walks up with the beef eater. They unlock the door, the not the main doors, but the gates. And we walk in, and I'm looking at the people going, huh. Inside me. I wasn't doing, yeah, I'm a princess. I'm going in. And so now imagine this. I am now on the other side of the gate, inside the Tower of London, and it's empty because it's closed. There's nobody there. It's an empty city. I'm now walking through the Queen's properties with my girlfriend and these two guys, right? And it was just, for me, it was phenomenal, because I know the ramifications for a lot of things. And I'm walking through these ancient streets, and he gets us up, and we go to one of the other, I'm not sure what the name of the building is, but it's where the crown jewels are. And we go in, and we go upstairs, and I'm walking through like these hot 20-year-olds. I'm like, oh my God. why am I not 20 right now? Oh, so cute. Anyway, all in military outfits and stuff. And then he takes us to this room, and we still don't know who this guy is, right? We have no idea. And we proceed to have a drink. I didn't have any because I don't drink wine and stuff. But anyway, I hung out with them and they were chatting, and then he brings another guy in and we were all talking and stuff. And then he goes, "Okay, ladies," he goes, "so and so will escort you to, to the position that you need to be in, and I will see you guys later." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so we get escorted by this cute little handsome 20-year-old. And then we're standing, he takes us to Trader's Gate. So now imagine you're inside the Tower of London. It's like almost 9 o'clock at night. There's no one there, and you're standing by the Trader's Gate. And I'm like, wow,
Oh my
no one's ever going to
gosh.
get this experience unless you actually live there, right?
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was phenomenal. And then, of course, the proceedings started and this whole process happened. And we joined the people that were lined up outside, we joined
That
them.
didn't have the VIP.
That did
You
not have the VIP, but they did do the letter. They did write that letter. So anyway, so we go in, and I have no idea this process. I know certain things in the key ceremony they showed on a video, but I didn't know really what was going down. And so we're standing there, and this whole thing guy comes in, does the keys, dang, because it's the official. We're locking the gates of the Tower of London. So that went down, and then we're standing there, and our guy comes out, and he's running all the military guys. They come out with their guns and everything. And we're like, who is this guy? Come to find out, he was the captain of the Queen's Guard.
Oh my gosh. So you couldn't have found a better person to just get through all of the bureaucracy of getting the letter, the list. That's how you know that this is magical and special, because the universe
Yeah.
knew exactly who to tap to,
Yeah.
spin into you and your friend's orbit to make all this possible.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. And he's still a friend to this day, you
Oh
know?
my
Yeah.
gosh.
And he's taken me to different things. So
A great friend to have.
yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah, that story was really special for me, and you said something really important when you started the story, that I think anyone who's familiar with manifestation or the laws of attraction, and you talked about the feeling that you had, that your subconscious, you had already had a vision, and then you put the feeling or the vibration to match. And it didn't matter what your logical mind was thinking, you had already set this in motion energetically. And I think that's
Yeah.
really special, because I too, when I read the story, it made me think of something kind of magical that happened in my own life, and how
Mm.
I ended up meeting my partner, now fiance. I had, after my husband had passed away, I didn't think I was going to date again, or at least not for a while. But I was with my husband for almost 21 years. We had been together. And when you're used to being with someone for that long, it's very, very lonely to not have, a partner, not to have companionship. So towards the end of the year, after my husband passed, I was starting to feel that need for companionship. Long story short, I told my therapist that I felt really guilty. I didn't know that if I should be even thinking about finding
Right.
companionship. Ended up agreeing to go out with some girlfriends. And the night before I went out, I just kind of said aloud to the universe that I'm ready for whatever happens. I'm open
Wow.
to whatever happens tonight. And then symbolically, I still had my wedding ring on, and
Mm.
I just felt in my heart that I was okay with taking it off. And that was as I was kind of declaring
Wow.
aloud that I'm open to whatever happens. And so it made me think about, okay, even though my logical mind wasn't thinking I was going to meet someone or even planning to meet someone, I had
Sure.
already in my heart, I declared it and I had opened up space. And so I think that your story illustrates and you know, the story I just gave is another example of how magic can happen when you
Yeah.
set your intention and just like go with it, have the feeling that it's going to
Yeah.
actually happen.
Absolutely. And I think also that was connected to it was just like a little like you said, I had already set the intention, I already knew what I wanted, I always saw it, I was happy, I was passionate about it, I had all those things, and I'd been doing that for a while. And then at like a couple of weeks beforehand, I realized that I wasn't gonna do it because of the rules, right? And I think the distinction for that was it's just a blip in the road. Like that was just a
Mhm.
little test, so to speak. Um,
Mhm.
and it didn't let me, and just because I didn't think I was going, there was something inside of me that just didn't let it make it real,
Yeah,
right? It didn't make it real. Like
and
like I would really believe it.
yeah, and it seemed like there was a letting go of it too. It sounds like
Yeah.
how you like it's yes, you were disappointed, but you almost had just kind of let it
Yeah,
go and look at how the universe brought it back to you. I think
completely.
that's so amazing.
Such a magical way. I mean, it was really
Ah!
magical, right?
Yeah, that wow.
Yeah.
So, a couple more questions for you, friend, as we
Yeah.
wind down this time together. So, in your book, you write about choosing a fulfilling life, and you ask this really great question that I think is a gut check for all of us. So, hopefully,
Mhm.
those who are watching or listening take the time to ask themselves this question. You ask, am I truly fulfilled in this life? Which is a scary
Mhm.
question.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of people are not fulfilled, but are scared to admit that to themselves. But
Yeah.
I would love for you to share an example of maybe when you asked yourself that question and the answer was you weren't fulfilled, you things weren't going according to what you had hoped for. What did you then do about that?
Yeah. That's a question I ask myself often. So it's not a one and done kind of thing. I think that I really, as all of us, we all have to look within. We have to monitor, like, where am I? Am I happy? Is that fulfilling? Is that person right for me in my life? And sometimes there's nothing to do about it. Like you just need to shift the consciousness, shift the intention, and then they go away. Like people just go away, or they take second tier for you. Not pushing them out. You're not aggressive or nothing. You're just like you said, let it go. You're just letting it go, letting it be. Just let it be, and then really look within and um, chart the course the way you feel. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you
Mhm.
may not have the answer like right out the gate. It takes practice to like ask those questions and then listen. And then sometimes you just come back, goes, I don't know. Just, I don't know. I don't know. You know, you probably had that with your kids. Like, well, what do you think? Well, I
I
don't know.
oh, it's always fine or I don't know. Anyone
Fine.
who's a parent
I
knows
don't know.
those 2 answers.
Hmm. Fine. I don't know.
But
Well, guess
yeah,
what? That's our inner our little inner person that does
that
that.
is.
So right? So you have to like be patient with yourself and just
Yes.
have the intention like I want to get clear on this,
Mhm.
you know. And it's scary and there's things that are scary. Stuff scares me all the time,
Yes.
like this scares me, you know. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Um You know what I mean? It's just like, I just think, we're all there. We're all scared. We're all wanting love. We're all want to share.
Mhm.
Most of us do, I would say. And we owe it to ourselves to take the time to love ourselves on a new, extraordinary level and really and find out what that means for yourself. Like, what does that look like? It may not look like what your mother did or your parents or anybody that wants you to do this, or you should do yoga, or you should do this. It may not look like that. It may look like, I just need to lay down.
Hello. Period.
I just need to lay down and turn off the phone. Don't talk to me, and make
Yes.
that okay. Just
Yes.
make that okay. And
Mm.
then while you're taking that time, just go, what's next for me? Do I have a purpose? What is that? What does that look like? How does that feel? Am I excited to be where I'm at?
Oh my gosh. So many just juicy nuggets there with taking time, asking yourself the question, being okay with whatever the answer is,
Totally.
or letting it come over time, and asking yourself what's next, which is a perfect segue for me to ask you what is next and what's fulfilling you right now in your life or career.
Move over, Meghan Markle. Re- Regina's taken on. Okay, this is way better. Girl, you could be cooking and talking at the same time.
Right. Okay. Let me just do a little quick pullover. I was watching her Netflix special, and I was like,
Oh,
I could do this.
oh my God.
Toast. I could have a cute little like cake. I could cut up the herbs and spices
Mm-hmm.
and have my
Mm-hmm.
friends over. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're gonna call that into the universe. Thank you, Glenda.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like your friend was your wish partner, you're my wish partner. We're gonna
Yes,
call
ma'am.
in
Yes, ma'am.
my wish to
Right.
take this show on the road.
Absolutely. And you should, because you have depth, beauty, grace, intelligence, and spirit. And you bring it. And, it's like, yeah, go chop your vegetables somewhere else. You know, yeah, just because you got yourself a prince, I don't mean nothing.
I got me a prince too.
Thank you. Okay, I messed up that question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you
Um,
did. That was so much more fun. That was a fun little detour. But we're back. We're
Move
back on
over.
the road.
We're back.
Um,
Because Regina, you cook in so many other ways.
that y'all heard her. So, how are you fulfilling yourself right now? What's
No.
on the horizon?
Don't ruin my podcast. For God's sakes.
I know you have so much on the horizon. Like what's filling your cup
I
right
do.
now?
Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. So many amazing things. But I think right at the top of the list is a girlfriend of mine from the UK. I just met her actually through doing interviews and stuff. And her name is Dr. Madeline Chan. And she's lovely. And next thing I know, I had done all this work on a retreat like a year and a half ago, and I went, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. But I did all the groundwork, and then she's like, oh my God, no, we got to do it, because I've been wanting to do a retreat. And so we put together some amazing practitioners. We've got Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck and another woman that's doing body therapy and music. I mean,
Ooh.
it's just like, it's crazy. The retreat is a 4-day retreat. It's going to be in the UK, in Dover, at the Dover Marina Hotel and Spa.
Ooh, sounds peaceful.
Yes, and it's going to be a fabulous 4-day retreat, and we're cooking right along right now. We've got all the practitioners set up, and we've got our we've got the website. It's the retreat. Well, the partnership is called the Goddess Code,
Which
and
I love.
I know, the Goddess Code. Goddess Code VIP.VIP. So that's our name of the company, but we're really focusing on doing the retreat. And of course, if anybody wants to know about the retreat and all the details, they can just um, reach out to me, and the site should be up probably by the end of next week.
And give
And
me
then
any
all the details.
links. Yeah, I can
I
put any
will. I
links in the
definitely
show
will.
notes for people.
Yeah. So that's been my major baby, and preparing to tour and do jazz, and there's a couple other projects I'm working on with music, and just giving out love and expressing myself, and feeling like I'm doing what I'm here to do, just doing my
Mm.
part. And that's how I feel for everybody. If everybody just does their little part, then we all come together, and we're all singing together on some deeper level. But if you're hurting yourself, or not giving yourself what you need, you're hurting me too. You're hurting Regina, you're hurting other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And so do yourself a favor, take care of yourself, love yourself, and it spills over, onto all of us. And then we become a family. Like, that's how we do real family.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. On that note, you are truly living the blissful life. That's why I couldn't have
Yes.
thought of anyone better to have on my show. How can people continue to follow you, Glenda, follow your music, and just continue to be inspired by you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's pretty simple. So if you go to my hub, it's glendamusic.com, and everything is there, like everything from the retreat to, all the goddess stuff, to my music, to music videos, my YouTube channel. It's all there. So you would just have to just go there. That's the easiest, glendamusic.com. That's
I
probably
love
the
it.
easiest. And if you Googled Glenda Benavides, you'll find
You
everything.
will
It's
find this
all there.
goddess
Mhm.
here.
It's all there.
I love it. Thank you so much. This meant so much to me to have this
Mm,
conversation, and I'm just blessed to count you as a friend.
thank you.
And just thank you for you.
You're welcome. Thank you for you. I appreciate you too. This is how it works.
Take care.
Live the blissful life.
Live
Do it.
it.
Live
Thanks.
it.
Thanks,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Thank you.